Namaste. Welcome to this practice based around Virabhadra, meaning the warrior. So Virabhadrasana, warrior posture, 1, 2, and 3, are strong standing poses that strengthen our legs and bring up this feeling of courage and inner strength in us. Vira means hero and Bhadra means friend. So we learnt about Shiva last week, one of the great gods in Hindu mythology. The story today is about Shiva and Sati, and it's a ferocious story about a warrior. This is Virabhadra, really big, many hands carrying terrible weapons, and wore skulls around his neck. And you can see him here holding a chap about to sever his head. We're going to find out who that is and what this is all about. Although Virabhadra is ferocious, the story about how he came about is actually a love story. I want you to come down to lying on the floor. So lying down on your back, knees can be bent or you can stretch the legs out long, completely up to you. Have your hands resting on your belly. Now I want you to close the eyes if that's all right and concentrate on the breath, breathing in and out and feeling the belly rise on the inhale and deflate down on the exhale. And just around our navel, our solar plexus is said to be the seat of our Agni, the seat of our fire. Okay, so breathing in and out of the belly, we're gently fanning our inner fire, and fire plays a big part in our story today. So think like bellows that you're gently pumping, you're fanning your inner fire, the seat of your strength, your solar plexus. Breathing into that. The warrior postures are strong. So as always, you take the options that are right for you. So you know your body better than I do. So work to your own ability. Warriors are great for strengthening the legs and preparing the body for back bends, okay? They're forms of gentle back bends. So you've got to be sensitive to that and work with what your body is offering you today. Now, I want you to bring into the practice something that you're finding challenging at the moment. This could be a situation, a person, a problem, something physical or emotional that you would like to remove as an obstacle in your life. Okay, warriors are great for cutting through obstacles. That's just what we're going to do. So be kind and gentle to yourself, but think of something you want to work with today. Breathe into that. I'll start our story. So it begins with the creation of the universe. Brahma, the god of creation. We're going to signify Brahma by bringing just our right knee up over our chest, hugging it in, so linking the fingers around the shin, drawing it in towards us. Brahma grew out of Lord Vishnu's belly on a lotus blossom. So let's stretch the leg gently up towards the sky. You can use the hands to support it. Push out through the heel and bend the knee. Inhaling and then exhaling into the stretch as you push the heel up. Imagining this is Brahma growing up on his lotus blossom. And then bend the knee, placing the foot back onto the floor. You can either leave it on the floor or slide it down so the leg is long again. And then do the same with the other side. So left knee, lift it over the chest, link your fingers, give it a good squeeze, bringing it towards the chest, then releasing it, just warming up the hips. And then when you feel ready, stretching the leg up to the ceiling, imagining this is something growing up, Lord Brahma the creator, ready to start work on the universe. Bending and flexing your knee, and then bringing that foot back down. Bend both knees, roll over onto your side, and press yourself up, coming all the way over to tabletop pose. So facing me, so you can see what's happening. Hands under shoulders, knees under hips. We're going to take our cat-cow pose, spreading into the fingers. Inhaling with a nice neutral spine. Exhaling, rounding the back, dropping the head. Inhale, tilting the pelvis. Lift the heart, lift the head. Exhale, rounding the spine, drawing the belly up towards the ceiling. And keep that motion going. So the first thing Brahma did was create his sons. And Daksha was one of the sons that he created. So Daksha, who became king, ran a kingdom, was the son of the great creator. And he wasn't that keen on Shiva. Okay, there's other stories behind that story. Take a nice inhale, and on the next exhale, bring your hips back towards the heels and bow down. Reaching the fingertips forward, having a nice stretch down the side of the body, softening into the back, breathing into the back of the body. Inhale as we rise up, lift the hips up and then let them come through and down to the ground, bending the elbows back and lowering yourself down onto your belly, ready for cobra pose. Reach back through the toes. Inhale, lift the heart, roll the shoulders back, draw the shoulder blades down as you rise up. Good. And exhale down again. So this could be super gentle. This could be right down near the floor, or you can lift the back up, but work on the upper back. The lower back should remain soft, not being strained. Engage the tummy muscles to help with that. One more time, this time lifting up and continuing the movement, drawing the hips back, ready to tuck the toes and lift into downward facing dog. If you don't like down dog, stay in kneeling, walk the hands forward and stretch out the arms. We want to get the back nice and long. So you can walk out the legs, pedaling one heel then the other down to the floor. And then really pushing it into the hands, bend both knees and push the mat away from you, taking the sit bones up towards the sky, getting that lovely long back. And then if you want to, heels come down towards the floor. Bend the knees, try that one more time, getting the feel of your down dog today. And anytime you want to, you can always come straight down to kneeling. We're all going to come to kneeling now. Inhale, lift the head, lift the heart for cow pose, and exhale back to child. So we can take this into a flow, a Shakti flow. Inhale, rising up, bring the hips all the way through into cobra, don't lower down. And then tucking the toes, come back through kneeling all the way, exhaling into downward facing dog. Inhale down to kneeling. Lift the head, lift the tailbone, cow pose. Exhale back to child. Shakti is the feminine energy. Inhaling through to cobra. Exhaling back to down dog. Start walking the feet forward. Come into a forward fold at the front of your mat. So Daksha had many children. Some stories said he had 62 daughters. We're going to concentrate on one of those children, Sati. Okay, beautiful Princess Sati. So pressing down into your feet, slowly roll yourself up to standing, letting the head come up last, roll the shoulders back, open the palms towards the front, keeping the heart lifted, that chest nice and open. Find your mountain pose. And Sati fell in love with Lord Shiva, much to the despair of her father. She moved to Mount Kailash, where Shiva lives, and they lived a very simple, very austere life, not the sort of life that the king wanted for his daughter. We're going to take a Shiva stretch here. Take your right foot across the front of your left and try and distribute the weight evenly on each foot, each leg. Inhale, we're going to lift the hands up and catch hold of your left wrist with your right hand. Take another inhale and then exhale over to the side, coming into a crescent lunge, feeling a stretch down the left side of your body. Rise up twice more, exhaling over to this lovely Shiva stretch. This is one of his postures. And over. Last time, letting the hips really float out to the side. Up we come and uncross your legs, bring the hands down. Try that on the other side. So taking the left foot in front of the right, getting that balance. Inhale, reaching the hands up. Exhaling a little, softening a little as you take hold this time of the opposite wrist. So your left wrist, your right wrist with the left hand. Inhale, stretching up. Exhale, over you go to the other side. Coming to your left, feeling the stretch down the right side of the body. Use the breath to come up and then back into the side stretch. Each time coming a little deeper. Thinking of Shiva and Sati being very happy with their simple life. Inhaling up, exhaling down. And then come to the front of your mat if you're not already there. Bring the hands to the heart. Inhale, float the hands out to the side and up, ready for a forward fold. Hands come together and then down the center, bending from the hips.
Sati found out that Daksha had organized a great yagna, a fire ceremony, and invited all of the nobles, his many daughters and son-in-laws, but not Shiva and Sati. Sweep the hands out to the side and link the fingers behind your lower back. If it's okay for you, I want you to stretch back through your knuckles and straighten your arms, rolling your shoulders back. You should feel a good squeeze between the shoulder blades. Rise up so that the heart is kind of parallel to the floor. You're in a half forward fold. Keep those knees bent. As you inhale, take the hands back, unless this doesn't feel good for you, in which case you keep the elbows bent, and then exhale, bow forward. As the hips go up, the head goes down, and the arms come up and over for a lovely stretch of the shoulders. If it doesn't feel lovely, release it. Let's do it twice more. Inhale, bend the knees, come up halfway. Good. Exhale, bow down, lifting the arms up and over. Good. Nice juicy stretch for the shoulders. Last time, inhaling out of the posture, exhaling as we bow down into it. And then bringing the hands down to the floor. I want you to take a big long stride with your right foot, stepping back into a lunge. So go nice and long. The left knee is over the left ankle, looking forward, lifting the heart. Good. When you feel a stretch between the thighs and your foot is reaching back through the back heel, inhale there. And then we're going to step back into downward facing dog, and your choice now to float through to plank or to half plank. So shoulders over the wrists, inhale there. If you want to, exhale, drop both knees. Keep the core engaged. Against Shiva's advice, Sati decided to go and confront her father. So keeping the right knee on the ground, dropping it to the ground if it's not already there. The left leg is long. Kickstand out the right foot, press into your right hand and bring the left hand up onto the hip. So you've got hand, knee, foot all in one line. Breathing here. If it feels good, you can lift the top hand up to the sky in our half side plank. Keep the heart forward, letting that top hand drop back if that feels good. We're going to rise up. So ideally we want this knee under the hip. I'm going to take my foot back just a little further.
Engage all those core muscles. Press into that front shin and push yourself up to high kneeling. Rise up. Good. I'm going to take gate pose from here. So right hand is going to lift up. Left hand is going to drop onto that straight leg. Feel a lovely opening stretch along the side of the body. Breathe in. Exhale. Cartwheel the hands back into your side angle. Lovely. Your half side plank. Inhale. Rise up again. And touching that leg, lift the top hand. Exhale all the way over, and this time bring both hands to the floor, both knees to the floor. Tuck the back toes under, downward facing dog, and walk forward into your forward fold. This time, it'll be the left foot, big stride back on the left foot into a lunge, lifting the heart forward, reaching back through that back heel, pressing into the hands, take it back to downward facing dog, and from here, either floating forward to plank or bringing the knees to the floor for half plank. Make sure that core stays engaged. So Sati, uninvited, turns up at this celebration, and she demands that her father say why she and Shiva were not invited. Drop one knee down to the floor, kickstand out, that left foot, and then again line yourself up, so left hand, knee, and the right foot are all in one line, and then you rise up, keeping the hand either on the hip or lifting it up to the sky, and the heart is forward, the hand is back. And from here we're going to rise up into our preparation for gate pose, pushing off with the hand. Inhale, come up to high kneeling, knee under hip. And then gate pose, lifting the left hand, dropping the right hand. Over we go, cartwheeling down to the floor, half side plank. And one more time. Inhale, rising up. Well done. Exhaling down. So Daksha insulted Shiva. Bring the hand down to the floor. Come down to hands and knees. Hips sink back into child pose and rest. He said in front of everyone that Shiva was unsuitable for Sati. He had dirty dreadlocks and was covered in ash, hung about in cremation grounds with unsavory characters. Sati, of course, was very sad and said to her father that if he could not accept her as she was, in love with Shiva, then she would take away the most precious thing that Daksha had given her, her own life. I want you to walk your hands up towards you and come up either to kneeling or to sitting. If kneeling is not comfortable for you, you can use blocks or sit cross-legged, have the legs forward. We're going to do some breathing. So Sati sat in meditation at this great yajna ceremony. And the story goes that she meditated on fire. She heated her own inner fire, her Agni, and spontaneously combusted. Other stories say that she rose from meditation and walked calmly into the yajna, into the fire. We're going to represent this now with our fire breathing, our belly breathing. So I want you to place your hands on your tummy. It's going to help get the idea of this. And we're going to take some short, sharp breaths, pumping the tummy. The idea is that we take a normal inhale in through the nose and really sharp exhale out through the nose, drawing the tummy back. And it'll be fast. It'll be 10 times. You might want a tissue handy. So we're going to take a preparatory breath, inhaling in, exhaling out nice and long, empty the belly, and then 10 times in and out. Exhale, Nice and long, emptying the belly. So I hope you felt the tummy pulsing under the hands, really drawing the stomach back with every exhale. We're going to give it another go. Now, hopefully you've got the hang of it. So nice big inhale, exhale to prepare. And then normal inhale in and 10 times pumping the belly. And release, exhale out. Big inhale up through the nose. Our breath now. And sit in stillness on the end of that R breath. Maybe there's no need to take that inhale straight away. Feel that dying breath. There's a pause before the inhale comes in. Let it be gentle when it's ready to come in, but just sit in silence and stillness, maybe closing your eyes, and feel if that has changed the chemistry in your body. Perhaps you can feel the prana rushing around. Okay, this breath is great for energizing. Something you can do, best to take a few breaths at a time and then pause till you get the hang of it. Breathe normally and then trying it again. And you might feel a fizzing, a tingling. Maybe it feels like the blood is rushing around inside. We've got the heart rate a little raised. We really oxygenated the blood, representing this idea of fire in our belly. Good. And then coming onto tiptoes, bring yourself into a forward fold and let the head hang down. And either feet closer together or hip width apart for stability. Press down into the feet and slowly, slowly roll yourself up. Taking your time, come back up to standing in mountain pose. Opening out the front of the body, drop the shoulders away from the ears, press down through the feet, lift up through the crown of the head. So Shiva learnt of Sati's demise and was devastated. He knew that it was because of Daksha, his rejection of his daughter, and he grew angry. He was mad with grief. And before we learn about what happened next, we're going to revise our warrior postures. Have a look at the difference between the warriors. So come to the back of your mat and facing the front, hips are going to stay facing the front. I want you to put your hands on your hips and turn the left toes out to the side, about a 30, 45 degree angle, and then take a big stride forward. Okay, and check that the elbows are still pointing sideways. If that right elbow is now forward and the left elbow is back, lift the back heel, adjust the hips, get them facing squarely to the front, and then place the foot down. And you can always do that in Warrior One. It's a nice check. You might feel that the back is slightly compressed. We're going to try and draw the tummy up like we were zipping up, buttoning up tight trousers. Okay, and then inhale, lift the arms up into the air. Exhale, bend the front knee, and this is Warrior One pose. How is the lumbar spine? Can you think about that tailbone going down towards the floor? Push into the outside of your back foot and feel how that lifts the pelvis. We want it tilted just slightly so the tailbone's tucked under and the sides of the body feel lovely and long. Have a look at your knee. Is it tracking directly forward over those toes? If the arms and the shoulders don't like being raised up like this, the arms can either come down to sort of more of a cactus pose, or you can bring the hands to the heart. And we can take it more into a back bend by lifting the gaze. See if that's right for you. The heart is open, but the gaze can either be forward or lifted up to the sky. One more big breath here. And then to change it into Warrior Two, we're going to inhale, straighten the front leg a little, and then turn to the side. bring your right hand forward, your left hand back, and bend that knee again. You might want to wriggle that front foot a little forward. It's normally a bit wider, warrior 2 than warrior 1. The arms are out, shoulder height, reaching out to the front and the back. So you stay upright, torso is upright. We're not leaning forward. Press into the outside edge of that back foot again and see how this feels, keeping the chest lifted and the gaze is down the middle finger of that front arm. If after a while your shoulders have had enough of being at shoulder, your arms being at shoulder height, take the hands to the hips, but the gaze is still strong and steady, gazing out at any obstacles in your path. Let's do the warriors on the other side, then I'll take warrior 3 separately. So from warrior 2, want to turn the feet to the side of your mat. Exhale, hands can come down and step to the back of your mat. Turn back to the front, and we'll do that on the other side, okay? I'm going to go the other end just so I end up still facing you. So turning the right foot out a little this time, big stride forward, and check that your feet are making train tracks rather than a tightrope. If you feel wobbly, heel toe that front foot out to the side a little bit. Hands on the hips. How are those elbows looking? Are they even? Does that mean the hips are still square to the front? Okay, so you can choose to lift the hands in front of the heart or all the way up, inhaling. Exhale, bend the knee. Feel strong coming into these postures. Okay, ground down through the feet and feel like there's energy coming up from the earth through the legs. Lifting the heart, proud gaze, strong gaze. Inhale, exhaling here. Warrior 1. And then we can change it into warrior 2. A little lift, inhaling. Open the hands out, exhale into warrior 2. Check that that knee still tracks out over the front toes. Okay, it needs to be in line with the front toes. It's easy for the knee to twist in a little. Rotate, externally rotate the thigh so that that knee goes out over the middle toes. Drop the shoulders away from the ears. Can you be in this strong pose but find relaxation within it? And remember that lumbar area is what we want to keep supported. Drawing the belly in and up, pressing down into the back foot. It lifts the whole posture up a little. Lovely. So let's inhale, straighten the knee. Exhale, hands come down to the side. This time step to the front of your mat. So warrior 3 is very different. It's a balance. So we're going to feel our way into this. Feet hip width apart. I want you to, first of all, to take the left foot back behind you. Balance on the left toe, so you're standing on the right foot. That's going to be our balancing leg. And you're welcome to come near a wall or have a chair in front of you for this pose. And we're going to shoot our hands back at the same angle that our back leg is. And think like there's a rod of iron through the crown of the head, down through the body, right out through that back heel. When and if you feel ready, you're going to take the weight onto that right foot and lift the left toes up to come into the balance. And the secret here is not to let this left hip lift up so you're twisted. We want to keep those hips parallel to the floor. The hands can stay shooting back, or they might come out to the side like an aeroplane. And you can tilt forward, or you can stay more upright. Okay, so you might come all the way into a T shape, or you might be almost standing upright with the toes still touching the floor now and then. For an extra challenge, you can take the hands forward. Okay, this is the classic posture. Very challenging, I find, to have the arms and legs out, challenging on the balance. And then we're going to drop the back foot to the floor to come out of warrior 3 and then step forward. Well done. And let's try that on the other side. So now you've got an idea of it. If you want to be near a wall, you can either have the wall in front of you or to the side, something to help with your balance. Right foot is going back this time. Press into the left foot and find that energy. Imagine you've got this bar. So it's far better to be almost upright in a lovely straight line than think I can bow forwards, but now you've got this angle. We need the foot to go up if you're going to bend forward. So have a little play, find your balance. Micro bend always in the standing leg means that we're using our muscles rather than locking the joint to find the balance. Chin is a little tucked so that we're keeping the back of the neck nice and long. And if you want to challenge yourself, bringing those hands forward. Inhale to finish. Exhale to drop back. Bring the hands down. Good. And step to the front of your mat. Come back into Tadasana. Take a moment. Just feel how these postures affect us. Okay, they all bring up this feeling of inner courage, inner strength. So now we're going to take them into a little flow, and I shall attempt to tell the story as we go. So we left Shiva devastated on his mountaintop. He is so mad with grief that he tears a dreadlock from his head and throws it to the ground. A great rumble echoes out over the land, and from the ground, the great Virabhadra rises. Okay, imagine this warrior rising up from the earth. This is our warrior one. Okay, so bring your hands to the heart, front of your mat. Inhale, let's open out the arms. Exhale, bow it down. Touch the earth in your forward bend. Okay, deep respect to Shiva and Virabhadra. Take your left foot back behind you in a lunge pose. And we're going to rise up. So in order to rise up, we need to press into that front foot, front knee over the front ankle, remember. Let's spin the back heel down to the earth. Ready in our warrior stance. Okay, we've got the feet sorted. Press down. You can do this in stages, bringing your hands to the thigh maybe, and then to the heart. And then if you want to, lifting the hands to the sky. This is like Virabhadra with his sword ready, rising up from the earth. So today we'll keep the fingers together. Sometimes it's nice to spread them and feel the energy, but imagine your hands are swords and you are rising up from the earth. It's said that Virabhadra reached up to the heavens. He was as dark as the clouds. His eyes were burning and he had fiery red hair. In his many arms, he carried all sorts of terrifying weapons. So inhale there, straighten the leg a little. Exhale, take the arms out to the sides and change it to warrior two. Now you're looking down your right arm, down through that middle fingertip, middle fingernail and beyond. Relax the shoulders away from the ears. Swords ready to attack. Virabhadra goes to Daksha's kingdom and wreaks havoc, slaying all in his wake, flattening buildings. Okay, I want you to see your samskara, your challenge, your problem that we thought about at the beginning. See it in your sights. You're going to tackle it. Inhale, exhale. And then we're going to turn this into warrior three. Come back to warrior one, turn the hips towards the front, keep that front knee bent. Now it's up to you. You can either step forward and come into warrior three like we did before, or get a little push off with that back foot and come straight into your balance. Up to you. You make your own way there. Virabhadra launched his attack. Okay, this is him launching into the attack. Experiment with flexing your back toes or pointing the back toes. What makes you feel more stable? Big breaths here, nice and strong. Feel the strength in that standing leg. One more breath, inhaling, and then exhale, let the back foot drop back, find the floor, come back into warrior one if you can. If it doesn't happen, don't worry, rediscover the posture, and then open it out into warrior two. Good stuff. We're going to take dancing warrior now. So the top hand lifts up, the bottom hand, the back hand comes underneath as though you're holding a big beach ball. Inhaling here, and then rotate that beach ball around to come into a side angle pose. Good stuff. Rotate it back again. This time that front hand lifts up, palm facing you, and the back hand drops down onto the leg. Keep the front knee bent, and this is exultant warrior, reverse warrior. Okay, looking up at your hand or straight ahead if the neck doesn't like that. Breathing into it. Take a big inhale here, and then cartwheel the hands down to the floor to frame the front foot. Turn all 10 toes to the front of your mat. Drop the back knee down. Ready in your low lunge to rise up to crescent lunge. Press down into that front foot. Again, you can do this in stages if you want to, coming to the thigh, lifting the hands, gentle back bend. Keep that tailbone long. Inhale, and then exhale, bowing it down, touching your hands to the floor, tuck the back toes under, rising into your high lunge, step it back to downward facing dog, walk out the legs here. Good stuff. And then let's drop to the knees, take it back to child pose, have a breather before we do the other side. So Shiva came to survey the work of his warrior. Okay, we're going to do one more round before we complete the story. Notice again how the heart rate is, how the breathing is, and then let's do this the other side, rising up, tucking the toes, walking yourself forward into a forward fold. This time, the right foot shoots back long into our lunge pose. Okay, so we are rising up from the ground. This is a strong way of coming into the warriors. Spin your back foot down onto the ground and notice whether you've got the heel, the front heel lined up with the middle of the arch of the back foot, or if it feels a bit wobbly, heel toe that front foot out to the side so the heel is more in line with the back heel. It will be more stable when you rise up. And you can do it in stages, or maybe this time you press into that front foot and you rise all the way into your warrior one. Making your way there. And remembering what we learned in the posture, tailbone long, belly drawn up. Press into the outside of the back foot. Feel how that lifts up through the side body, keeping the lumbar spine relaxed. Okay, you are now rising up to sort out Daksha. This is why Shiva has sent you. So inhale, straightening the front leg here. Exhale, open it out into warrior two. I'm hoping you're on the opposite side to what you were before. I'm just going to swap around so that I am. Breathe here. Look down your arm. I want you to see any challenges, any problems that you are facing, and imagine them dissolving. Okay, these postures are strong. We are summoning up everything from inside, deep down in our fiery belly. We know that we have the power to sort these problems, watch them dissolve with these postures. Big breath here. We're going to change it back into warrior one. Inhale, lift the arms up, facing the hips back to the front of the mat, ready to take warrior three. Okay, so you're either stepping to the front of your mat or pressing into that front foot and launching forward. Good. Feel strong. So Virabhadra is chopping off Daksha's head. He decapitates him and throws his head into the fire. Nice big inhale to finish, and the exhale drops you back onto that back foot. Lift the hands high, open out into warrior two. And here we take a moment to pause. So a dancing warrior, we lift the top hand up and the back hand under, and we take it forward. Spin it round, and again, lifting it up. This time, our right hand comes onto the leg and the left hand lifts up. This is reverse warrior. And exhale, top hand comes down and over the top for side angle. Breathing here. And bring it down to the floor. Turn the back toes towards the front, drop the knee. Press into that front foot, lift it up. Breathe in, lifting the heart, looking up or straight ahead as you prefer, and then bow it down. Hands come down to the ground. Step that back foot back and sink back. Step the front foot back, sink back into child pose. And feel the energy settle. So Shiva arrived in Daksha's kingdom to see the devastation that his warrior had caused. And he felt humble. He reintegrated Virabhadra into his body, absorbed him back into his body, and decided to bring the people of the kingdom back to life. So pressing your hands, walking your hands up, bring yourself up to kneeling. And we're going to take hero's pose, which I know is not right for everybody. Hero's pose is when we sit between our heels. Really nice stretch for the knees, but not if there's already stuff going on with them. So you've got choices. You can either use blocks or cushions underneath to lift the hips up, or if you don't want to do it at all, you can bring the feet in front of you. So whether you're in hero's pose or in this W position, I want you to take the hands behind the hips, to the sides and behind the hips, with the fingers facing forward, and lift the heart. Okay, lift the heart, squeeze the shoulders together, the shoulder blades coming together, and the head might drop back, or you might prefer to keep it lifted, up to you. This is hero's pose, Virasana. Okay, so great mighty Shiva brought the people back to life, except the Daksha. Okay, his head had been tossed onto the fire, and his wife pleaded with Shiva, pleaded, please bring my husband back to life. So what Shiva decided to do was bring him to life with the head of a goat, to remind him forever how stubborn he had been. I want you to lift the heart as you come up, inhaling all the way upright. And if the legs aren't already forward, bring them around in front of you to come into staff pose, Dandasana, this 90-degree angle between torso and legs. Keep those toes nice and upright, facing up to the sky. We're going to take a forward fold. So let the knees be a little bit soft. Inhale, the arms rise up. Exhale, hinge forward, not as far as you can possibly go. Just hinge, trying to keep the back straight. And then pause there. Let the knees bend a little more. Inhale and see if you can lengthen. Lengthen the spine, lengthen up through the crown of the head, and then bow a little further forward, letting the hands float down to the floor this time, either side of the legs. And we can work here. Inhale, the knees are bent, the heart lifts. Exhale, think heart comes forward, the legs straighten, and we bow down. Keep working like that. The inhale, knees bend, lift up a little. Exhale, legs straighten, you bow down. Working to your degree of forward folding. You might be nose on knees, you might be almost sitting upright. Doesn't matter if you're feeling a stretch down the back of the body. Don't strain. So Shiva was broken. He walked to the fire and picked up the remains of Sati, walking off into the mountains. Okay, we're going to represent his walk now. So I want you to lift the hands, start lifting the hands. When the arms, the upper arms come level with the ears, lift the head. Use the core muscles to bring yourself up and then exhale down. Lovely. Let's take a twist. I want you to take the right foot, bend the right knee, and place the right foot on the outside of the left knee. If you know twists aren't for you, if you've got issues going on in your spine, I want you to bend both knees and place the feet flat on the floor. Otherwise, we're just bending one. Link the fingers around the front shin and draw yourself up nice and tall. Good. And then we can take our twist. Inhale, the left hand lifts up. Exhale, we wrap the hand or arm around the bent knee, bringing the right hand down behind the hip, and we're turning sideways. And then lengthen again on the inhale. Try and find that length, keep it in the body, and we turn. Turning from above the waist, the shoulders and the nose turns round last of all. And then come out again. Inhale, untwist. Exhale, looking over the right shoulder. One more time. Taking this gently, finding your edge, exploring your edge. Coming all the way around to the front now. Inhaling. Exhaling, taking the leg out long, having a little shake and noticing how the body feels, one side compared to the other. Then we're going to bend the left knee. Place the left foot outside the right knee. Try and keep the extended leg with the toes pointing up to the sky. Draw yourself up tall. Think, I'm going to keep that lift in the sides of my body. Inhale, lifts the right arm up. Exhale, turns to the side. The left hand comes down to the floor to support you as you wrap the arm round the leg, or maybe the hand comes to the shin. Inhale again, find extra length. Exhale into the turn as fully as is right for you. Head floating around last, and then unwind a little. Inhale, length, space in the vertebra, in between each vertebra. Exhale, turning, looking over the left shoulder. One last time. Inhale, exhale. And then inhaling all the way around to the front. Exhale, shaking out the legs. So Shiva was walking across the Himalayas and he began the dance of the Tandav, the dance of destruction that would have brought the end of the universe. And that God said, we have to do something, we have to stop him. I want you to bend the knees, ease yourself down to lying on your backs. Bring anything with you might want for relaxation. We're nearly there. So any extra layers or socks, have them nearby. Ease yourself down to lying down and bending the knees, bring them up over the chest and have a little hug, a little rock and roll from side to side, easing out the back, massaging the back. So Brahma and Vishnu decided to separate up Sati's body in order to make Shiva let go of the attachment he had to this body. Sati had now left her body. And it's said that every little bit of Sati, as it fell to the earth, that place became sacred. And still these places are worshipped in India today. They've got a very special energy about them. I want you to let your feet now drop down to the ground. And you decide whether it's best for you to straighten the legs out and let the toes drop out to the side, or if that's uncomfortable on the lower back, whether you're best keeping the knees bent, let them rest together with the feet wider apart. And find where it's comfortable to settle your hands, maybe palms face up to the sky to keep that lovely openness across the front of the body. You can have a wriggle and a shuffle, find your comfortable place, and allow the eyes to close. So Shiva took himself back to Mount Kailash and was said to meditate for thousands of years, waiting for Sati to be reincarnated, which indeed she was. She came back in the form of Parvati, and Parvati and Shiva were married and had children and were very happy. So there is a happy ending to the story in the end, I promise. Now I want you to relax now, soften down into the mat. Corpse pose, Shavasana, representing the lifeless body of Sati, is the ultimate relaxation posture. Breathe in and out, feeling the rise and fall of the belly. Let every exhale take your muscles into a deeper release. So check in with the jaw. Let there be a bit of space between the teeth. Let the tongue be soft in the mouth. Shoulders relax away from the ears. And the hips spread widely onto the mat. Limbs are heavy. Fingers gently curled, toes soft. Relax and release. So you might think, what does this story have to do with everyday life? Well, every one of these myths and legends are a way of delving deeper into our own psyche. There's always a deeper meaning to them beyond just the literal interpretation. So perhaps they allow our own darker side to become more accessible. Perhaps they highlight issues which we need to challenge. Often they help us summon that inner power in order to work through things, work past blockages, get past things, and bring things up to the surface which need dealing with. So it helps us discover our strength, our power, and our love and compassion. So battles like this, they may be between gods and demons in the stories, but we all have our own everyday battles going on inside of us. And this story explains things in different ways. Each of the characters represents a different aspect of ourselves. Sati represents the heart, love. Think about, have you ever followed your heart, despite what other people think, what they say? If you don't tend to follow your dreams, what holds you back? Is it the worry about what people will think about you? Do you let others influence your decisions? Daksha, the king, represents the ego and ignorance. When we act from a place of thinking about ourselves, just how things will affect us, things rarely go well. So what scares you about the unusual, the unknown? Have you ever been quick to judge others? Perhaps you've cut off your nose to spite your own face. In our story, by rejecting Shiva as a suitable husband, upsetting Sati, Daksha the king ended up losing his daughter. Virabhadra is a hero and a friend. He may appear ferocious and scary, but actually Shiva, he comes from Shiva, and Shiva wields his power compassionately. So what sort of a warrior are you? Do you rise up and challenge what you think is wrong? Do you sometimes let your emotions take over and act rashly? Or can you pause, consider the battle ahead, and then like a calm yogi, go into the fight, but compassionately acting from the heart? Shiva himself represents the higher self. He's known as the destroyer, the transformer, responsible for bringing things to an end in order for new, better things to start. In our story, the higher self, Shiva, destroys the ego, Daksha, and then through compassion forgives the ego and withdraws back to meditation to remember and reconnect with the essence of the heart, Sati. Every time now you move through these various warrior postures, reconnect to that great warrior within us, the part of us that is strong, courageous, determined, yet always remembering to be calm and compassionate. Taking a deep breath now into the heart space, releasing the breath out on a sigh, and starting to make small movements with fingers and toes, having a stretch of the limbs or a yawn, maybe drawing the knees up for a hug and a rock. And then allowing yourself to roll onto the right-hand side and rest there. And if your eyes have been closed, allow them to gently flutter open. Become aware once again of your surroundings as you press yourself up to a seated posture. And today we'll take the mantra Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. You're welcome to join in with me. Let's take a nice deep breath to prepare first of all. So bring your hands to your heart. And as we inhale, take them out to the sides, up above the head. Let the hands come together and exhale, sighing out the breath back to the heart. And again, inhaling. This time with an Om. Om Shanti at the head. Shanti in front of the mouth. Shanti back to the heart space. Peace, peace, perfect peace. Inhale into the heart. And exhale with a bow. Bow to your practice that we shared today. Bow to the strength of the warrior within you and all of the lessons that the warrior postures and the story behind them can teach us. Namaste.